Okay, welcome everyone to, this is class number 2 for transition time. And remember that the whole reason I really wanted to do this for us is because as we're in this whole flux in the world, right now is our time to say, you know what? The world's changing, I'm changing with it for the better. And the other thing that's happening with so many people right now is that people are getting stuck in fear. They're getting stuck in what is this world going to be like? Well, here's the one thing you will always have. You will always have you. And when you heal inside of you, a lot of the things that are stuck or old negative emotion or old charges around memories, what happens is that it's almost like anything that comes your way, you're like, okay, I got this. And it is amazing because your perseverance and your calm resolve, it just takes over. And it's like, whatever comes, you're like, yeah, it's going to be okay. After we get through some of the personal healing, we're going to get into learn how to stop that mental chatter. The mental chatter causes fear. Okay, so we're going to learn how to stop the chatter, but we got to do some things in advance. So for those of you who have not been on Zoom before, let me give you a real quick tutorial. If you scroll your cursor over your picture, you should be able to have a little blue bar that comes up that says unmute. Usually you have to go to the top right. Okay, if you scroll your cursor over the whole bottom of the screen, it's usually either on the bottom or the top. You're going to have a whole bar come up. If you want to start your video, you can go to the left-hand side and you're going to see the mute, and you can see start video, stop video, that kind of thing. Okay, you're also going to find a chat bubble. If you click on the chat, you guys can chat to each other, or if you want to send me a message, you can send it to me privately, or you can send it to everyone. The way that you do that is you just go to the bottom of once you click the chat bubble, you go to the bottom of the chat screen, and you're going to see a little blue bar with a white arrow. If you click that, you're going to see everybody you can send things to. You also can send privately to me, or just send to everyone, okay? This is an interactive group, so I want you to feel free to interact as you would like and ask the questions as you would like. All right, so let's get started because we have so much to go through today. So as I was preparing this, you're going to find that this is going to be, again, just like last time, it's a little bit or a lot of bit practical and a little bit out there. So I'm going to challenge your beliefs on the purpose of this life, what we're doing here. I'm going to give you some information that my guides have brought to me. If you haven't done some research on my history, why I would possibly know things that aren't in our history books or know things about this world, it is because I've been speaking to a set of guides since I was very, very young. And I've worked with thousands of clients in the past, since 2011. And really, the information that comes through is really quite amazing. So lots and lots of statistical analysis to understand that their stuff is pretty accurate. Okay, so today's focus is really going to be on understanding the human conditioning. So if you haven't had a chance to get to class 1 is called The Purpose of Life. And in that class, it is all about understanding this life that we live in. What the heck are we doing here? Why are we in these bodies on this earth? And what I do is I share a perspective with you. I'm going to repeat something I said in that class because it's critical. I am not here to convince you of anything. You are welcome to doubt everything that I say. My recommendation to you is listen internally. And if you listen to your internal guidance system, it's going to tell you what you believe and what you don't. Stay out of the head. The head lies. But if you listen to your heart and you listen to your gut, it will tell you. Okay, so listen to yourself. In that class, we talked about understanding our human ego, and we're going to do a little repeat on that today. We gained deeper perspectives on what you're doing here in this life, and we started to uncover how you've been humanly conditioned. All right, today, We're going to dig deeper into that human conditioning, and we're going to analyze how the conditioning drives you. We're also going to get into learning about how about the emotional charges inside of you, and then we're going to take some next steps. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about those 12 levels of soul development. Ooh, you're going to love that part. Okay, so last time I explained, welcome to Earth School. You want to know where you are? You are in school, okay? You are in soul school. If you want to know the first levels of soul development, we're going to do a little review, okay? So just hold your hat on. We'll talk about Earth School and what kind of level of soul development you're in. But one of the things that we talked about last time is that in this Earth School, which is grade 3 of soul development, you came here to get an ego, okay? This ego that is in your genetic programming and something you signed up to get in this lifetime is something that causes you to do 3 really big things. It causes you to look for love from other people. Okay, so you're looking outside of you all the time. Do you love me? Do you love me? Especially when you're a child. Mom, Dad, do you love me? You know, kids at school, do you like me? You know, you want to be accepted. Am I good enough? Am I successful enough? Did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? Am I handsome or pretty enough? You're also, this is a biggie, looking for worth and value through other people. When you're looking for your worth and your value through other people, you're going to get desperate to be better than, to have enough. Okay, so here's what happens. You end up living in fear. Right? When you're looking for things, your worth, your value, your acceptance, your love outside of you, you're going to get in fear that you're not enough. You're not going to have enough. You might get hurt. You might get rejected. You might get betrayed. You might get lied to. You won't have support. People won't understand you. Okay, what if you don't have enough money? Well, then if you are fearful about not having enough money because that gives you worth and value, you're going to put profit before people, the animals, and the planet. You will. So there's a purpose to it, okay? So we also talked about feelings versus emoting. We want to get you to a place where you don't emote. We want to get you to a place of feelings. When you go through this process, and again, I've had thousands of clients and I can tell you this shit works, okay? So what happens is that all of these emotions that you have inside of you, they just start raining in and raining in and raining in and raining in, okay? Until really you don't really react too much. You do here and there. You know, there's a trigger because you're still human and you don't lose the ego, but you really stop doing a lot of emoting. Emotions are low-level reactions to the human condition. They're all about personal needs, reactionary behaviors, harsh emotions, okay, that keep you triggering and upset. I do see I have a comment. I will get to that in a second. What happens is that instead of emoting, you end up feeling. Feeling means that you feel something like joy. You can feel an aversion to something like, well, that sucked, or that person wasn't very nice, or you can feel territorial or, you know, grief or things like that, but there's no emotional charge behind it. It's not personal and it isn't triggering. You don't feel this like you got slighted or victimized or hurt by someone or wounded. You're like, yeah, okay, well, they did that. That really sucked. Okay. And yes, I have a potty mouth. I'm so sorry. Okay, so Michelle says, how do I untrain myself from constantly being concerned about what I should be doing? That is going to come out in your human programming, okay? So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look further at that. You have to first understand, and this is a great question, you have to first understand how you've been programmed to understand what to undo. It's kind of like reverse engineering, okay? We're gonna reverse engineer you. Okay, so we also talked about that in Earth School, you're here purposefully, willingly, and you know, excitedly to seek an identity through the eyes of others, to get obsessed with your identity, who you are. See me, see me, see me. Okay, to judge your worth and value based on how others treat you. Okay, you're going to determine your worthiness for love based on how you were treated as a child. And you're going to develop painful emotions and personal needs, and you're going to behave in a really bad manner at times. Yep, you are. And because of all that, what's going to happen is you are going to develop guilt and shame and depression and sadness and fear, insecurities, self-doubt, powerless anger, and pride. And some more than others. Okay? And Debbie, I see you laying out on that deck. I am very jealous of you right now, sister. Okay. So you're going to end up in these lessons and all this stuff until you realize, and it's really important that you do, that all of this stuff, all of what the ego told you, it's just a big fat lie. The ego is a liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay? It's a lie. And here's the thing, you're going to realize all along when you get through, if you stick to this and you are committed to this stuff, trust me, you're going to all of a sudden realize that you were worthy and valuable and internally beautiful all along. And I'm going to share some personal experiences of going through this where I was in a really bad place at one point. and I honestly, my worth was in the toilet. It was. And I think I flushed a few times. So the one question that you got to ask is why? Or if you want to ask it around the globe, warum, right? That's in German. You can ask perché, you can ask por qué, or you can ask pourquoi. Why? Why are we here? What are we doing? And there's some really big perspectives to put in your mind. You cannot, as a soul, become unconditional love or unconditionally loving until you have been conditioned. And what are you conditioned to do? Hate yourself, feel like a victim, feel put upon, get upset with others, feel less than. Once you get conditioned in all that crap and you work through that conditioning, you're going to find unconditional self-love for yourself. And what happens is you will inevitably, you can't help it, you will have unconditional love for others. Now there's some big tests that I want to bring you through with this. Last time I said, love isn't an emotion. Okay, it's not an action. It's not something you do. You don't give or receive love. Unconditional love is a state of being. I am love. I just radiate love. That's what I am. Okay, and it's unconditional. Why? Warum? Because you want as a soul to transition into grade 4. Guys, do you want some bliss? You seriously want some bliss? Let's get you some bliss, okay? So when you live with a tamed ego, you're not going to be driven, okay, by fear. You're not going to be in all this chatter anymore, okay? You're going to be driven by unconditional love, and it feels damn good. You're not going to find that you want to compete with people. You're not going to worry about jealousy or, wow, how come they have it all? It's all about cooperation. Okay, in my work, I've trained hundreds of people to do what I do, and I feel no sense of competition with them at all. Whoever's supposed to be drawn to them will be drawn to them. Whoever's supposed to be drawn to me will be drawn to me. In grade 4, you will live as a body, in a human body, but your ego will be tamed. Okay, you're going to have this innocence. You're going to live within free energy where we treat the animals well. We're connected to the earth. We eat healthy foods. It's holistic and natural. Okay, and we don't put profit before people, the animals, and the planet. That we want the world to get to. This is my life mission. And here's the thing. You can never, ever obtain peace truly in your outer world until you first obtain peace on your inner world. That's what this is about. So here's the deal. Soul growth process. Here's the other reason why. Why do you want to graduate from Earth School? Well, okay, we know that grade 1 was just learning to exist as a soul. And we know that grade 2 is where we learn about embodiment, okay, and creating a physical body and learn to move physically, and we learn about instinct. Great. We know in grade 3, which is where you are right now, you get conditioned by the ego to live in fear and be driven by all this human conditioning so that you can fight through and get to grade 4, where you live as unconditional love with an ego. Still have an ego, but it's tamed. Okay? Here's the rest. Why do we want to get through this? Because in grade 5, and by the way, you can live grade 4 existence in this lifetime. You can get here in this lifetime. I went from grade 3 to grade 4 in this lifetime. Okay? In grade 5, you live as pure unconditional love. You're not in a body at that time. You're like, oh my God, bliss. So I had an experience where I actually passed over to the other side at one point. And when I came back, I remember I took a breath, and when I breathed, I felt this amazingness. It was like, I have never felt that kind of joy and bliss and peace in my life. And there are parts of me that long for it again, but I also know I'll come to that again. I have a mission here. Okay, it's this. So grade 6, after you've lived and really learned to live as unconditional love without an ego, you get then to move into grade 6. Grade 6 is where you're going to learn about the laws of life. You're going to learn about what time is, what matter is. Everything will be unveiled to you. You're going to understand and be taught the mathematics of existence. Now, this is where you're going to want to commit me. Okay, but I had an experience about 7 years ago, where I closed my eyes and I saw these little tubes. They're like these mathematical tubes that went out the side of my eyes. And I opened my eyes and I was like, what is this? And I closed my eyes and they were there again. And I heard my guide say, you can fall into those, but you're going to have to surrender completely. And I knew that I had to. And I remember I fell into these tubes and I went very, very quickly down these tubes, and I came out into a room of geometry. And in this room, they began teaching me for 3 days. When I would close my eyes or just get out of my head and just, exist, they would bring me back in the room. And I was first taught about just what a spiral is. And they would highlight it and they would give me information and they would say, do you understand? And not realizing that I actually understood. I understood. There's a lot to learn about life, about existence, about our world, about more existence. Okay, you're going to learn about all of it. Grade 7, now you've learned about the mathematics. You understand that everything is movement and everything is mathematics. Well, okay, well then you have to actually physically embody movement. You have to actually orchestrate it. So they'll start you out with a vortex. You might become movement in a tornado. You might create a tornado. You might create winds and sand. You might become just a water in a drain or movement in space. You might become just some kind of a simple vortex or hurricane. Okay, you've got to embody movement. And after that, you're going to go to grade 8, because grade 8 is like, man, you did great in grade 7. You learned about everything in grade 6, and you're so loving. We trust you as a planet now. We trust you to orchestrate movement, unconditionally loving as a planet or as a body of water or as air, because just like grade 3, you have to go through all the phases in each of these grades. So you might start out just as wind, or maybe you're just in an asteroid belt orchestrating gravity, okay? Maybe you're a tide, right? There's so much to that. I have a question, so let's see what it is. Marissa says, so I have memories of learning of universal laws of life, mathematics and geometry, geometrics, etc., but during a dream state. I think that many of you probably have already been to that stage, and I'll explain in a minute, okay? And one of the things that is important to understand is that the information that I'm bringing you, I think it isn't teaching you. I think a lot of it, for a lot of you, this is reminding you, okay? But you can't remember it if you're in your head, okay? I think that we've been taught these all along. It's about opening up to understand that you are greater and more vast and more amazing than you could ever imagine. It's just that the ego keeps lying to you. So maybe you became a planet. Maybe you became a moon, all right? Then you're ready to do more. Well, you did great. Can you imagine how in a planet, you've got to have so many plates spinning? You're like, wow, okay, here we go. We've got gravity. We're moving on an axis. We're doing all these amazing things, okay? Grade 9, you're not just going to orchestrate the movement of a planet. You're going to orchestrate the movement of a solar system. In this vast universe, all the spinning and the moving and the orchestrating and the responsibility as that solar system. Grade 10, try that with a universe. Can you do this now? Now, how many plates can you have spinning in the air? How many can you do? Can you do this? That's incredible. Can you imagine embodying a universe? Well, here's what happens. Grade 11 is one of the hardest because grade 11 says, okay, hotshot, you know about the world, you know about existence, you know about mathematics, you know about movement, okay? And this isn't mathematics like sit down and do algebra, okay? You can suck at that and still understand this, all right? Grade 11 means that you are now going to have all this knowledge inside of you, and you're going to come back to this earth. And it's like, let's see how you handle the ego now, hotshot. What you gonna do now? You're gonna come down here and you're gonna go through pain with the ego all over again. And grade 3 is the hardest place you can go. Trust me on this, hardest. All right? In tarot, the ego is the devil. Okay? Transition is the grim reaper because it kills the ego. There's a reason for that. This is a hard place. You want to know where hell is? Well, congratulations. You're not only in a classroom, you're in a burning classroom. Man, this is hell. All right? So now you've got all this knowledge and you're going to come down here and you're going to embody it and you're going to be like, I don't belong here. What am I doing here? And then you're going to get into even a harder experience because you have such vast energy. You are so huge as a soul. You feel more. You're more sensitive. You hurt more. And now you're going to go into a body. Guys, remember last time I was talking about baby, infant, young, mature, old souls? Babies feel this much. Okay? 50% of the world are infants. They feel this much. Dude, you feel... Can you imagine? I know how many of you in this room right now can feel your energy. Your energy is huge. Okay? So we need to tame that ego. And there is a definite process to doing it. So we need to tame the ego so that you can embody the amazing things that you came here to do. One of the things my guides explained to me is that until you tame that ego, until you don't trigger or react, you're not going to be fully on your path. So once you pass it in grade 11, as above, so below, now you're grade 12, okay? Grade 12 is embodying all that is. You know true existence. You made it past the hardest experiences there are. And now it's your turn to fractal and have babies, little light babies, and expand and start your own universes. You can call that a God if you want. That's not blasphemy. It's just another way to look at it. And again, don't believe me. Listen inside what resonates with you. Yeah. Now, let's land back on Earth. Okay, that's going to take you way out there. But one of the things I'm going to tell you is that you are on Earth right now. Okay, don't obsess about where you came from. Get through this first. Get through Earth school. If you keep obsessing out there, it's just a distraction. Bring it in as knowledge. Bring it in as knowing. Bring it in as understanding how big and beautiful and limitless you are. But then walk the earth, okay? Land back on earth. Because back at Earth School, here's how you know you're going to graduate, okay? When you realize that you are love, okay? You're not looking for it from anyone else. When you get it, it's awesome, okay? You learn to forgive all of your perpetrators and all stupid things that you have done. You learn about compassion. You learn about your connectedness to source, okay? You learn that you are more than a body. You learn about wisdom. You learn to tame the ego and be unconditionally compassionate love. And here's the thing. In this experience, compassion means you don't have to like everyone, okay? You don't. But you do not get to judge them. Unconditional love means this. I don't have to invite people over into my inner circle. Okay, people I don't want to, I don't have to. I don't have to like what somebody has done. I don't have to respect what their wishes were or their choices in life. I don't have to, but I don't get to judge them. Every single human being on this earth is going through their own human conditioning. It's just that some people's human conditioning is uglier than others. Some people's human conditioning is more violent than others. Some people's human conditioning is public and messy. But everyone is humanly conditioned. And it's the older souls who get the harder lessons. So your job is to seek to understand people. Seek to understand them instead of judge them. Judge means that you are not unconditionally loving. Here's your test. You know that you're in a place of unconditional love when you can love these people equally. Can you love this man as much as you love this woman? How about this? Can you love this man as much as you love this man? I've worked with pedophiles, attempted murderers. I have forgiven somebody who was a perpetrator to me. I love them all equally. Again, I'm not going to invite them over for a barbecue. They're not going to come in my inner circle. But I don't want to judge them. Okay? They have been harmed, which is what caused them to harm. Unconditional love understands that. How about this? Can you love this beautiful couple on their wedding day as much as you can love this couple? Can you? How about this? Can you love your mother-in-law as much as you love this woman? And here's the thing, guys. Can you love all beings, no matter what they are, no matter who they are? Can you love all cultures, all ages? Can you love yourself? I love this little girl. Can you? That's unconditional love. Remember, love is a state of being, okay? You live your life as love, as non-judgmental, tolerant, understanding, and compassionate. And you know what? That is unconditional love. And I've got a question, so let me just tap in and see. Oops. There it is. Okay. So, question is, my son said to me that you know when you love all people unconditionally, your love is not special. That's so true. Here's the thing. Love is just love is just love is just love. I say that all the time. There isn't romantic love and love for your parents and love for your child. It's all just love. Okay. Now, some you do different behaviors with. I'm not going to treat my boyfriend like I'm going to treat my mother. Okay. That's kind of gross, but I love them. Okay. Because I radiate my love in their presence. To me, that's what, when I say I love, that means I am love. In their presence, I can radiate beautiful love and not judge. Okay. This is your big litmus test. So, are you ready to get on with it? Let's get on with it. Let's transition. Let's tame that ego. Okay, let's boot that out. All right. So here's the deal. You were asked to look at how you were conditioned in life. If you did not catch the first class is on the Facebook page, and you're also going to find the handouts in that files section over on the left-hand side of the page. Look for the worksheets in there that talk about my life conditioning. Okay. You also determine how did it affect you. So reactions to my human conditioning is the second sheet. Okay. In that, it asks you to analyze your false beliefs and your stuff, and how you ended up feeling about yourself. Okay. Today, we're going to go through personal needs, coping mechanisms, reactionary behaviors, and emotions. Ooh, yeah. We're going to get dirty. Next time, we're going to talk about engaging in the healing that is needed to change this. And then after that, we're going to talk about learning how to get out of your head. Okay? So, get your worksheets, okay? Oh, this is from last time. Last time, you were asked to fill out those forms, and you were asked to create a timeline of your life. There is a reason that I had you do that. I had you do that to surface things inside of you, because we have got to look today at your needs and behaviors, and we have to determine how did those get there? How do they get inside of you? Okay. So in transition time, we're going to get in there. We already did this. There we go. We're going to go in and we're going to look deeper. But I want to remind you of some things, guys. You chose this life. You chose your parents, no matter how cray-cray they are, no matter how nasty they are. You chose them. You knew what siblings you were going to get. You knew what town you were going to live in. You knew your circumstances. You set them up perfectly. And I'll tell you, when I went through a very hard experience in Ojai when I lived there. And I remember I was just in so much pain because of something that happened. And I'm sitting down at a table with a friend of mine, and she's like, "How are you?" And I was like, "Oh my God, this hurts so bad." And my guides came through and they were like, "Shut up." And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "You knew exactly what you were getting into." I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "You, okay." And all of a sudden I felt this feeling coming over the side of me from here where I heard them talking. And it was this, oh my God, I thought this was a game. I knew I could beat the game of emotion. Oh my God. This was a game to me. And I told my friend about it, and she's like, "What? What was a game?" I'm like, life. Emotions were just a game to me. And I knew I could beat them because they're silly. All they are is a vibration. And all they are is this ego lying to you. And once you beat the ego, you beat the emotions. And she's like, "Oh, wow." At that moment, they started taking it away. And I remember going, "No, no, 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 no. Don't take that away, because my life would be so much easier if I had that." And I cannot recreate that feeling. And I've tried, but I remember it. Okay. So I want you to remember, you chose this and you're excited to come here. And to most of us, it was probably a game. Also remember this: there is no guilt, and there's no shame, and there's no blame in anything you have done in life. And I mean anything, okay? Source does not judge you. They don't do that. You judge you. Everyone is conditioned. And remember, some conditioning is just uglier than others, okay? I have a question. So, It's Carol commenting to Michelle. Very nice. Thank you very much. All right. So no guilt, no shame, no blame in any of this work. Do not judge yourself for being human condition. You came here to do this. And here's the thing, guys. If you were going to be in peace, you wouldn't have come here. If you were going to be in peace, you would have stayed where you were. You came here to get out of peace. You came here to get conditioned by the human experience, and that is painful. That takes hard experiences. Why? Because if everything's going well, why change? It's got to go not so well, and it forces change. The best experiences come through the hardest experiences. So let's look at emotional states of being. How many of you have seen this? Okay, this is a graphic that I've used many, many times with my clients. This is, and I'm going to just try to give it to you quickly here. Over here on this side, these are drivers, things that drive emotions, okay, or feelings. These are emotions, these are feelings, okay? So green, purple, and lavender, those are feelings. Yellow, orange, and red, those are emotions. Emotions driven by fear. These are the way that they would vibrate, okay? Lowest are shame and guilt, level 20 and 30, okay? And then you move up to apathy, like you're hopeless, you don't care, you're checked out, or you move up even higher, now you're in sadness, depression, anxiety, okay? Now you move up from there and you're like desire. That means I have to have that car to be okay. I have to be successful or look this way or I'm not good enough, okay? Then you actually surrender into the ego. You're like, fine, ego. I'm gonna live with you. I don't need to be in fear anymore. I'm all about me now. Okay. And so you get into anger. I don't deserve that. You need to respect me. I am better than you. You get into pride. That's how the human conditioned you. Eventually, you're going to cross this critical line where you move into the process of learning to love yourself. And that's what you're doing here. You are here to learn love. Okay, to exist as love. And you're going to have courage. It takes courage to be here. It takes courage to show up. It takes courage to look at yourself. You will surrender into realizing, you know what, I'm a pretty amazing spirit. You're going to surrender into that belief and understanding. And you're going to be willing to let go of all that pain. And when you do, you're going to open up into this divine you. Okay, this divine you who lives from wisdom and just accepts that you're beautiful. And eventually you're going to operate with a tamed ego. You're going to live with absolute as unconditional love, and it will bring you joy and true, authentic peace. And I remember when I got to the place of finding this place of love, especially myself, God, it always is yourself first. I remember thinking, I didn't even know you could be this happy. I truly didn't know. Had no idea. So when you're born, guys, here's what happens. You're born as beautiful love. You're not judging yourself as a baby. You're like, wow, feed me, change my diaper. Okay, you're just unconditional love. You're beautiful. And then, bam, crap happens. Life happens. You get judged. You get criticized. You get hurt. Somebody's not there. Maybe there's abuse. Whatever happens, happens. Okay? And what happens is that when, and I'm about to show you this next, it's pretty cool. When you go through that experience of the human life, you are going to create either a whole bunch of electrons or electrical charges that are negative. You're going to create a bunch of, if the experiences were negative, or you're going to, if it's a neutral experience, a bunch of neutrons. If it's a positive experience, you're going to be full of a bunch of protons, okay? Did you know that the FBI actually can measure people today as accurately, actually more accurately than a fingerprint based on your vibration? Your electromagnetic vibration is a signature for you. And they actually use that in the FBI. Okay, so what happens is when you're conditioned, you're going to lower your vibration because you've got too many electrons rolling around in there for memories. That memory, this memory, it still hurts. Okay. And then here's a bad experience. There's a -10, there's a -50, there's a -100. And next thing you know it, friends, you're down here, humanly conditioned, swimming in the bottom in guilt and shame. Did you choose that? Heck no. Is it because you're a bad person? No. Is it because you're not good enough? No. Okay. This all happens for a reason. So we're going to talk about this huge reason. And I've got 10 minutes to get through it. I never have enough time. Okay, so that's because I talk too much. All right, so here's the deal. I'm going to go through this quickly, but it is amazing. All right, this is your body. Your body is made of all of these amazing, brilliant, beautiful points of light. The air is made of these points of light. The chair is made of these points of light. The universe is made of these points of light, as is the water. Everything are little points of light, and they're called photons. And if they're in a biological being, they're called a biophoton. All of these little points of light vibrate. All of them. They all have this little frequency. The table is just compacted so much and is moving slowly. You think it's solid. That's not solid. Okay? So here's the deal. If that means that the air is this, the universe is this, little points of light, the table is this, the computer is this, I am this, well, then there's no separating anything. No, you're right. We're all just a bunch of little points of light. So is there really nothingness? Nah, it's just smaller photons. So that means the same mathematics governs everything. Yes, that's what that means. So that means that something that is this. This is macrocosm versus microcosm. So this right here, this is a brain cell. This is the universe. Ah, looks the same. Here's the birth of a cell and here's the death of a star. Looks the same. Here is the iris of your eye and here is a nebula in space. Same mathematics. And I was like, that's incredible. And then my guy said, yeah, look at the Fibonacci spiral. That's movement. You know, here's 90-degree angles, okay? And 2 and 3 is 5. 3 and 5 is 8. 5 and 8 is 13. It's movement, and all movement is math. And I was like, that's incredible. And they said, yeah, it's really cool. It's everywhere. Here it is in nature. Here it is in your body. Your body, even just like your finger, is just the Fibonacci spiral. It's just math. You grew that way. And they're like, look, here's the universe. I was like, that's incredible. They said, yeah. And they said, okay, so when you were first created as a soul, you got to see where all these electrical charges are in your body. And I was like, yeah, show me. And they said, okay, so you're one little speck of light. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, and then you're gonna expand your soul. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. So you actually created like meiosis and mitosis, like you split a cell, but it wasn't a cell, it was a point of light. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. And they said, yeah, it looks like this. And I'm like, okay. And they said, and then you kept doing this. You kept doing this and you kept doing this until all of a sudden you got to be this thing called the seed of life. And it looks like this 3-dimensionally. And I'm like, that's really cool. And they're like, yeah. And you kept expanding until you got to look like this. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's the fruit of life. And they said, yeah. In the very center is that little ring called the flower of life. And the flower of life is actually a story of your creation. And I said, well, why the ring? We always see the ring in our history. We don't see this whole outside. And they're like, Kelly, don't be dense. That's because you don't have access to all of your consciousness here on Earth. You, see the ring, are in a container without all your access. You're in a body. It's a story of your life being incarnated, your soul being incarnated. And I was like, that is amazing. They said, did you know that this is in every ancient civilization? And I said, no, tell me about that. And they said, look, here it is in the walls of Egypt. Oh. And they said, look here it is in Turkey. Oh, look at this is an Asian artifact, but it was found in Switzerland. And they said, look at this, here it is in an ancient church in Bulgaria. And they said, and even look at this, there it is in China. And you know, it's all over the place. If you just look, we all know the story of life. And I said, how? They said, Kelly, there have always been seers like you. You guys are good antennas. You hear us well. And I'm like, that is so cool. They said, yeah. So I said, now there's something important to understand. This, you want to imagine this three-dimensionally, okay? They said, if you take the corners of this shape that's called a dodecahedron, they said, and you take the intersecting spheres and you connect all their center dots, you're going to get this. That's Metatron's cube. Metatron's cube, I know this, I learned about this in biology. All right, this is all the platonic solids. These are all the building blocks of life. And they're like, I know, cool, right? And I'm like, yeah, right, okay. So, and they said, yeah, it's really cool. And they said, pay attention to this one right here. They said, this is in your soul. You have the ability to create. You can create a body. You can create experiences. You can create health or not health. You can create anything. You are limitless. And I said, show me where it is in the body. And they said, okay. So here's what it would look like if we took that little triangle shape that's called a Merkaba or a Star of David or star tetrahedron, whatever you want to call it, okay? They said that's where it would be on your soul. And they said, okay, now back up the train. Think of your body. Your body is made of nothing but cells, right? I'm like, yeah, hair cell, blood cell, tissue cell. It's all a cell. Okay, and what do cells break down into? Oh, they break down into molecules, like your DNA is protein molecules. They're like, yeah, you get it. Okay, what do molecules break down into? Atoms. Inside of atoms are protons, neutrons, and electrons. They're like, and science has been able to look inside the proton and neutron. They can't look in an electron though, because those are elusive and they can't capture the slippery little suckers. So, but we'll tell you, it's just get inside the proton and neutron. And here is an actual photograph. Okay, it's grainy because I haven't been able to find a good photo of it. So if anybody finds one, let me know. Mr. and Mrs. Zexlax, it's Xlax to me, but they are the ones who took the photos, so I'm giving them credit. Okay, now, looks like a universe inside of you. Now, if we zoom in on one little point of light, this is what it looks like. See the radiating heat and light? And if you zoom in a little bit more, you're gonna start to see a shape starting to form. We're gonna zoom in a little bit more. Look at this. Oh, look at that. There's that little beautiful star tetrahedron, Star of David. Oh, is that a hexagonal shape I see? Ooh, and if we zoom in even closer, there's that little egg of life that we started to see when we looked at our soul. Well, let's look at it the closest we can get. Bam. You break down into nothing but your thought, people. You break down into nothing but your soul, nothing but your consciousness, even in this stuff. All right, and this is what it might look like three-dimensionally. Well, not might, it does. And do you know what that shape is? It's really kind of cool. That shape is actually a microchip, because photons, or biophotons, if they're in a biological being, are crystalline in nature. Crystals are what microchips are made out of. Microchips hold information. And actually in NASA, they call your overall frequency a human resonant frequency. Okay, this frequency inside of you is information, is mathematics, is you. Inside of each of these, you hold your memories. Inside of each of these, you can create a charge, a negative charge or a positive charge. And we'll get deeper into understanding this if we're together long enough. Okay, if you keep showing up, I'll keep showing up. So here's the deal. Okay, whoa, mind-blowing, right? Your body stores the emotional charges of memories. And if you don't clean out the emotion, you're going to remain stuck at this low frequency being. And low frequency, we saw as like guilt and shame and fear and ego. You can't be unconditional love or wise or balanced if you're stuck in that state of being. You can't. I have a comment here. Let's see if it's for me. Dave says, I've actually seen those golden, the most beautiful golden light, light nectar, triangles and sacred geometry in my meditations. Now I know why. You got it, my friend. You got it. It's amazing. Every time I get into things, I see actually geometry. I see it all the time. I see you guys as molecules. It's so bizarre. And then because I know the mathematical language, I can understand what's going on inside of you because I see the language. It's incredible. Okay, so let's come back to this chart. What are you holding inside of you? What's in you? Well, holy smokes. Did you get down on the bottom of the barrel? I was. I want to show you something. This is me. This is me at the height of my insecurity. I look nice, but inside me, I can see sadness. Okay? I'm 40 years, I think 12 years ago, that was me. I was 40 years old. In this experience, when I finally got to the bottom of the basement, was ready to change, I had 4 statements about myself that I knew were true. I thought I was a bad person. I thought I was a worthless person. I thought I was sick and I was broken. That's it. Somehow I thought there was something innately wrong with me. I was successful. People liked me. I had friends, but I was not happy. And I realized at one moment, if I didn't face everything that was inside of me, everything, I would be the same way the rest of my life. And I chose me. I chose, I don't care how hard I have to work, I will work, and I'm not staying stuck here. And that is the challenge that I offer to all of you. Don't stay stuck. You don't need to. So I decided to get in and deconstruct myself. I decided to look at my emotions, my reactionary behaviors, my personal needs, my coping mechanisms, because all of those are indicators of what is stuck inside of you. Now, you guys are lucky because I've gone through all this, and that's how I created all this. The guides taught me over a 12-year period how to get in and fix myself. Okay, and then they'd have me do it with thousands of clients. So there's a process. And again, like I said, I have the statistical analysis to show you what works and what doesn't. This process works, but you gotta look. And so many people are like, I don't want to go back and revisit my past. Well, then stay the way you are. Let those vibrations continue to stay low. But I can guarantee you something. If you have the courage to look, and you have the courage to go through this process with me, you can look at every experience that you have had in your life and you won't feel a thing. I was beat up in Belmopan, Belize, left at a Mayan cave in a swimsuit in a country I didn't know, scared to death. I forgave that man and realized it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I became pretty amazing to realize that no matter what happened to me, I will persevere. I don't have any feeling left. And I feel, but I don't have any emotions around it. There's nothing left to have an emotion around. I forgave the guy. All right, he was, humanly conditioned. I brought that in for a reason. Okay? So you gotta look at what's inside of you so you can actually be happy. Now, we are not gonna have time in class. It's already 8:00 p.m. my time, 11 o'clock yours, or 12 or 13, wherever you are. Okay, but here's what I want you to do. As you are going through, and I'm gonna show you the activities, as you are going through doing the activities, do not hold that emotion. Ask whoever you need to come next to you. Ask Archangel Michael, that's who I asked, and say, bring a box. And all that sick guilt and shame that I felt was just awful inside of me. I bring up memories. I was like, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And I would pour it, snot dripping out my nose. I'm crying, and I'm pouring it into a box. Okay, and my tissue too. Okay, and I said, take it, tie it up in string, bring it up into source, transmute it to love, because I'm done with it. Okay, what you're actually doing is releasing electrons. You do not have to hold this. Now it'll come back until we visit the memories, okay? But at least in the moment, don't be stuck. You have control. You are powerful. You have control over your emotions. They do not have to govern you. You take your power back. Let them out of your body. Feel it like a big black cloud and send it out. And if you get stuck, please contact me. I am here to help. Okay. Now, what I'm going to have you do as homework, because I hope to do it in class, but never enough time. You're going to do this as homework again. You're going to do the 4 worksheets. Okay. But I'm sorry, you're only going to do 3 of them. You're going to do these reactionary behaviors. You're going to determine what kind of behaviors you have on a regular basis. Okay, it's not that you had it once. It's like on a regular basis. What kind of behaviors do you have? Then you're going to analyze what kind of needs are in there. What's really stuck inside of you? What drives you? What kind of needs are in there in the background driving you? And then you're going to look at your coping mechanisms. And coping mechanisms are all these ways that we handle hard experiences. Somebody backs you in the corner. How do you cope? What is your coping mechanism? Okay, so you're going to analyze that. And it could be tons of different things. Mine was anger and running away. If I exploded at someone and then got mad, they didn't have a chance to answer me, and then I'd run away. Not a very pleasant one, but it was mine. Okay. Then there is the external needs chart. I'm sorry, the needs chart. We're going to go over this next time. Okay. You can fill it out, but we're going to go over it next time. So I'm going to go to da. Okay. So here's the deal. You're going to complete those. And what's going to happen is this, and I'm going to guarantee you this is what's going to happen. So you had me fill out all these forms. Yeah, I'm full of human conditioning. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for bringing this all up. I'm a needy reactionary mess. Thanks, Kelly. Now what? Miss Smarty Pants. Well, we're going to release them and it's going to be so fun. But there's a very important thing that you need to do. Here's the thing. And we're going to go until about 10 after again, because it just can't leave you hanging. So here's the thing. You got to be patient, people. This takes time. There are so many people who are like, can you just give me the formula and let me do it? No, I won't. Okay? Because if you do something right the first time, you don't have to keep going back and doing it again. Soul's work is hard work, people, but it's the only work that's going to make your life easy. And I want you to trust me on this. You'll still have hard experiences, but they're going to be like, okay, it happened. Okay, yeah, I've been in Italy for 50 days now. Yeah, to be sick alone with COVID alone. Yeah, it happened. Okay, all right. But you're going to keep the ego, but it's not going to rule you anymore. And here's the thing. You have to go through a phase once you identify your behaviors and your needs and your emotions, your coping mechanisms. You have to become the observer. Okay, how do you actually feel in life? How do you think and respond about yourself and others in life? What kind of chatter is going on in your mind all the time? What are your natural reactions to things? What makes you trigger? I remember the moment that I actually realized, oh, Kelly Schwegel, you need to be right all the time. Oh my God, you always have to be right. And it was a shock to me. Let yourself be shocked. Let yourself see what's in there. Let yourself see what's driving you. Okay? If you don't take the time as the observer, we're not going to get very far. So take a week and observe. Use your box of emotions. Okay? And here's the thing. Be honest with yourself. Be open to seeing what's inside of you. Don't push your emotions away. Look at them. Okay? Stay out of your head, guys. Your head wants to rationalize, blame, create stories, take things personal, and judge people. Don't do it. That's the ego's tool. Don't do it. Feel. Be vulnerable with yourself. Okay? That's your homework. And when we come back, we'll fix it. Okay? All right. So I'm going to stop right here and take a question. Ron says, I have held this question off for the entire class. During suspecting, you may address it. The question is around the timeline. This seems to be an ongoing experience or exercise that I see myself adding to this over time, and as things occur and return to me. I feel some resistance to this exercise. I understand this, and will be an exercise that takes time. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna summarize that because I had a hard time reading it. Sorry, my fault, not yours. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, the timeline is hard to do. It's going to surface things that you probably wanted to forget. But what's going to happen is that by actually getting in, and I love that Ron said, by adding to it over time, as you remember more and more and more, you're gonna realize, oh my God, I have patterns. These same things kept popping up time again and again and again and again. Yeah, you're gonna realize that. Okay, and so what you're doing with the timeline is you're looking for patterns. That's called karma. Karma is not you did something wrong, now you're going to pay. Karma means this. Here's a life lesson. Did you learn it yet? Nope, that's okay, we'll bring it around again. Oh, did you learn it yet? Nope, that's okay, we'll bring it around again. That's karma. Okay, we have to experience enough good, bad, beautiful, and ugly around a topic, or you're not ready to learn it. So you have to go through many experiences and cycles with karma. Okay, I've got the weirdest light in here right now. It's dark and there's like the worst lighting in this Airbnb I'm in. Okay, so questions from anyone else? Feel free to unmute, okay, or chat them.
Can I ask a question? If I want my son to engage with you and your video, he may be open, he may not, but do you have any recommendations?
You know, one of the things that you could do is have him have a conversation with me if he's really opposed to it. Okay, you know, I'm not opposed to that at all. We'll just have a chat. The other thing is, if he wants private, then you want to get a session with me. Otherwise, give them the recording and just say, try. Sometimes they get hooked, you know, especially when they hear about soul life or things like that. Sometimes they get hooked. So, you know, let it be. Here's the other thing though, if he's not ready, and you cannot force him. Okay. We want to help our children, but we have to let them fall too, just like we did. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Oh, there is one. It says, I'm not sure if it goes with this class, but I've had high anxiety lately. How do we release anxiety and fears throughout the day? Do exactly what I said with the box. You have control. Feel, a lot of you, especially you in these classes, you guys are so empathic. Okay, empathic people pick up on what's going on in the world or pick up on people around us. So you've got to feel it. Okay, don't just dismiss it, feel it. I wake up sometimes where I feel dread and I was like, oh my God, what's happening in this world? And I feel the dread and I'm like, well, that's not staying in here. Okay, I feel it like a big black cloud and I send it out of the body and my whole body shudders, and then usually I take this nice little sigh and I'm like, ah, I feel so much better. Now I'll go about my day. Okay, so some people need to shit, shower, shave. Guys, you need to shit, shower, shave and cleanse your energy. Okay, all right. Any other comments, questions? All right, you got this. Yes, Debbie.
I just wanted to say that yesterday I took this massive step and let go of a 23-year career that I've been frustrated with for years in order to pursue my passion. And
yeah!
I feel this massive weight lifted off me. Like, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And
You know,
yeah, yay for me. I'm just like, wow.
You chose you. And here's the one thing I will tell you is that you need to follow the joy. All right. I was in a state job where I was making great money. I had 3 degrees. I had notoriety. I would keynote everywhere. I was a big shot and I left it all because I needed to do this. When we follow our heart, we are provided for. Okay. And we will have so much more joy and happiness because of doing just that.
Yeah.
When you are on your path, Source will provide. Yeah. Okay. Congratulations, Debbie. Anyone else before we sign off? Okay. Do the homework. I will see you next Thursday. One more. I hope you'll understand what I mean when you graduate. Those that mean, oh, when you graduate, does it mean that you die? Okay, well, no, you're gonna die about 100 times while you're trying to graduate from grade 3. You're gonna go through lifetime and lifetime and lifetime and lifetime. So make sure, Sylvie, that you get in and watch the first one because it'll talk about the baby, infant, young, mature, old. When you graduate from grade 3, you're gonna just incarnate onto a planet, okay? Take that any way you want. Is ready for grade 4. Earth right now is trying to get into a grade 4 planet that operates with a tamed ego. We're not there yet, but we're working on it. Okay. So, so just know it will happen. Okay. Okay, guys, have a great Thursday and I'll see you next Thursday. Ciao.
Mm.